The Ladybird Book of the Shed. The shed is a man's natural hiding place. It's just like the pub, except nearer to home. In a minute, Les will throw his children out of his shed and get on with some proper work. Then, when the coast is clear, he will go to the pub. Some animals have evolved to carry their shed with them. This tortoise will withdraw into its shed if threatened by a predator with a request to help peel the potatoes. In the winter, tortoises conserve energy by spending extended periods in their shed fast asleep, just like humans. Michael and Gwen are looking for the placemats Gwen's mother bought them for Christmas. "Quick," says Gwen, "she'll be here in 20 minutes. "I bet we hid them in here," says Michael, closing himself inside the quiet shed. Michael says he will not give up looking for the mats in the shed, even if it takes him all day. Men have built sheds in the most inhospitable environments on the planet. These men have built their shed near the South Pole. If anyone wants the men to come back in and run the hoover around the front room, they have to give 6 months' notice. This Antarctic shed is a great place to get things done. Using your shed as an office is called shed working. Bunny works from his shed. He is a freelance cow whisperer. At least, that's what he tells his wife. Bunny is unemployed. A shed is a perfect place to store things that are not quite useful enough to be in your house, but almost useful enough not to be in your bin. Some of the things in your shed may even turn into heirlooms for your children. Who knows? In the future, there might be a national museum of old phone chargers. They will pay handsomely for your collection. Here in Canada, Cliff has built a shed with its own moat. Cliff's friends use the logs when they come to help with his double-gauge railway layout. They sometimes bring sandwiches from his wife. Cliff's wife thinks all marriages should have a moat. A man needs a private place to do things with his hands. What would you do with your hands if you were alone in a shed? Wallace has taught himself taxidermy. There are so many dead animals full of sawdust in his shed that the door will not shut. Wallace needs a new shed. The sheds of the pharaoh Amenhotep were amongst the most spectacular structures in the ancient world. This mighty pharaoh was buried in 1521 BC in his shed at Qom al-Amar, alongside everything he would need in the afterlife: a bundle of rusty sickles, a woven rush box of back issues of Nile Life, half a chariot axle assembly, and a sacred tin of magnolia satin paint. A shed is a good place to fix, build and make things. Omar has made himself a special wooden friend. Omar's wife cried when she found the plans for this in his shed. "You won't cry, will you?" said Omar, staring into his friend's painted eyes. Warren has spent the weekend in his shed. He said he was sanding down some drawers to make them run more smoothly. Warren's robot has been made from old lawnmower parts. It can walk, talk, and hold the door shut. Roland is spending Easter in the shed sorting his screws. While his wife and children visit his mother, Roland is separating his screws into flathead, Phillips, pawsey drive, countersunk, double countersunk, bugle head, round head, clutch head, button head, pan head, hex head, flange head, Philister head, and miscellaneous. There are also boxes for washers, hooks, pins, and a bag for fluff. "It needed doing," says Roland. This dream shed belongs to the pop singer Rod Stewart. It has television, a library of pop magazines, and a bath shaped like the charts, with a hot tap in the #1 spot. It's a perfect place to throw a swinging party, but it's also a working shed for Rod to do his fretwork, or hide from his wives. Like many men, Justin uses his shed for home brewing. This year he has made a mild light ale, continental lager, super milk, tomato wine, parsnip gin, and a fortified onion lambrini. This batch of homebrewed Marmite is stronger than the one in the shops, so there must be a policeman present at all times. Not many people have seen inside this shed. It's the government research shed, half a mile underground at Porton Down. This high-tech facility is kept ready for use at a moment's notice. It's where the government will potter in the event of a nuclear attack. Sheds were important to primitive man since they provided much-needed shelter from primitive family life. This rudimentary shed is made from saber-toothed rabbit pelts, mud pies and sticks. After a meal of mammoth and roots, men would hide here until all the flints were washed up. Oliver has many important jobs to do around the house, and he needs somewhere quiet to do them. In his shed, using a 1/4-inch squirrel hairbrush, Oliver carefully tipexes out the designs on the dinner service he inherited from his late wife's mother. "Filigree is the devil's work," said Oliver. "Purity is strength." Some sheds are quite beautiful. "Come out, Frank," says his wife Margaret. "I honestly don't know what he gets up to in there," she tells her sister. If the shed at the end of the garden does not feel far away enough, you can get a second garden, called an allotment. Cyril has a shed on his allotment, 9 miles from his home. He also has an emergency shed in Italy, for when his wife finds this shed. The shed is a good place for keeping all the things you need to do odd jobs around the house. Laurie has always got lots of odd jobs to do. For instance, today he is painting his shed again. It's the first day of Polly and Toby's school holidays. For 6 whole weeks they will be in the house every day, all day. Their dad Keith has thought of something they can do together. "Help me fill the shed with food," says Keith, "and then get out." In May 1956, Eric Webb of Dagenham emerged from his shed where he had been pottering since 1938. He had been reported missing, presumed dead, in 1941 when his house was destroyed by a German incendiary device. Eric did not know that there had been a war. He immediately returned to his shed and started work rebuilding his home. It took Tom 6 years to get planning permission for his garage extension. Tom's neighbour said the structure would overlook their gardens and block sunlight. Tom is sure they will change their minds when they see his flying boat. This is the explorer Robert Falcon Scott, in the most famous shed of all time. Scott's second expedition to the Antarctic was a disaster, but his shed was a triumph. "I'm going outside, I may be some time," are inspirational words that men quote to this day as they unbolt the back door and vanish down the garden path. The end.